Now has on blue side pick and ban with Phoenix1 red side. Game 2 now starting off here. LeBlanc and Caitlyn, as we would expect to go down. Does Ryu get on a top priority pick as well? We've been seeing a lot more of the mid laners here at the first phase around for people.
Yeah, and TSM gets to be a little bit more choosy with their bans here now on blue side. Making sure MikeYeung can't snowball the early game with Elise, trying to make sure Ryu can't take over with LeBlanc. Basically saying, with how safe TSM drafted in game 1, I feel like, and then still won convincingly, they just need to do as safe a draft as possible right here. So the champions that could jump out to a lead and snowball the game, they're just getting rid of.
Don't say. There's a Tristana.
Yeah.
More snowball from that. We just saw a DoubleLift team use that to great effect. Yeah, all tech yesterday. What is the final ban from Phoenix1? What do they feel is a top priority to take away? Is it the Maokai from Svenskeren?
Yeah.
Something else.
Zach is unbanned.
Yep.
I am not sold on Zach being first pickable.
Yeah.
But other teams still are. We saw Cloud9 do it over on the other stream, as well as TSM ban it last game. Kalista's one, Maokai's one.
Yep.
So those are all still kind of up right now. Phoenix1 wants to go with the tank line.
This also gives TSM Kalista Thresh if it's not taken here by Xpecial.
Oh yeah. It's a good combo.
Yeah, it's a very good combo, especially Biofrost loving that Thresh lately. We'll have to see. Maokai gets locked in. Expected that from P1. MikeYeung's going to take that back into the jungle.
Yeah, hope to have a better performance in game 2. They're also probably taking this Thresh away, although it is a hover and they have a lot of options. This would mainly be to deny Kalista Thresh.
Yep.
I feel like more than to have Thresh.
Another one of the crazy ones we saw yesterday was that Kalista Alistar and the Orianna from CLG hitting multiple shockwave knock-up combinations. Still a possibility for TSM. As the Kane is hovered quite a bit in other regions, but only contracts here in NA, and it does go back to Zach for Svenskeren.
And this was kind of our guess for what type of priority TSM would put on Zach. The fact that they did ban it when they were on the red side means that they still want it and they still fear it. So Zig could have taken the Maokai top, and Phoenix1 could have still picked the Zach jungle.
Ooh.
TSM now throwing in the Taric to go with that Kalista down bot. Huh.
Yeah, huh. Cool. Interesting. I actually thought this would be Bjergsen's Orianna or something.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of Taric right now, actually. I think the buffs that he got in patch 7.14, the fact that he can stack up his Q charges with his auto attacks, makes him a tremendous objective taker, especially if you go Ardent Sensor. He also synergizes really well with Fate's Call, since you can stun right after you get the Fate's Call knockup. And he's just a solid team fighter if TSM's looking to go late game.
Interesting. With the support being
Corki.
picked, and they decide to get that, And then Ryu gets Corki, so he can stay safe. Pretty much do the same thing Bjergsen did last game and farm up the wave, rotate when necessary. Looks like he'll be running teleport as well if that sticks on his summoner. Gnar away from Hauntzer. Those engages setting up quite a bit for TSM in a silver platter last game.
Yeah, one nice thing with Taric against Maokai is how slowly Maokai initiates. Gives you the easy 2.5 seconds to proc the invulnerability from the Taric ultimate. Should be nice. And at this point, they're just starting to throw out top lane bans at each other.
Huh.
Yeah, TSM is assuming that the Maokai is going jungle, I think. Phoenix1 has the chance of just power picking a top laner if there's a lot of bans, or if they really want to manipulate a good matchup, get that last pick in there.
Just ban the Kog'Maw, say take it, Arrow. Camille for the side. Yep, there's another top laner.
Yeah, the question is here, do you ban Kled? Just because it's what Zig's most comfortable on. Or do you ban Cho'Gath? Because he's really good.
I feel like in this composition, you leave that Kled up. Because if he does die, Sven can go to the back line, and I feel like a Taric can protect double-lift on Kalista kind of thing. That depends, though. If P1 can follow up, always fun to theory craft the fights in your head, but then you're like, oh yeah, then they have this, but then is his flash up?
Yeah.
So that's going to be the Rek'Sai. Final one again from TSM. They did that on red side last game too.
Yeah, this is a situation where they actually probably don't care about banning Kled, so they're just going to throw a ban at MikeYeung. Dissuade them from throwing the Maokai top lane. Oh, baby!
It wouldn't matter if they banned the Kog'Maw. He's going Draven. Arrow. Taking out the axe.
That's the hype matchup right there. Draven into Kalista. One of the laners that can actually beat Kalista, especially if you get going a little bit. Kalista's short range, but trades very aggressively. Draven, just a little bit more of a trade and lane bully.
Yeah.
Remember, this is patch 7.15, so Cho'Gath, minorly nerfed. Still locked in, though, for top lane.
Yep. Still have the Orianna if they want it. Still have the Cassiopeia if they want it.
Yeah.
Really safe picks here they can choose.
They have a good spread of frontline right now, so they really just need damage. Corki and Draven will have a lot of damage as well, so they need to be able to shred through the tanks.
Spit that back out. So it is going to be the Cassiopeia lock-in. That is going to be left up. Phoenix1, as we said, banned 4 against Bjergsen last game. That cast was banned. Goes into his hands this time, and we are looking for the final top laner here for P1.
Yeah, or they can
jungle.
just throw something new in the jungle and still actually be all right.
Whoa!
Love it.
They got the crowd control. They lock in the Shyvana, which will still be effective in that sense. And she's going to be a beast as well.
Yep, so of the 24 changes in patch 7.15, Shyvana was one of them. She gained an attack damage ratio on the E and a little bit of attack damage per tick on the Dragon Form E. With that being said, I've watched MikeYeung play this a few times in solo queue as well. So he goes Devour, even though a lot of other people will go Cinderhulk, and just heavily focuses the objectives. Because if you remember even a year ago when Shyvana was changed to gain armor and magic resist while doing Drake and also do more damage against Drake, you kill it really, really fast. With that, he tries to snowball, and he is a good ganker for lanes with CC. A tough champion to play, though. He is highly kiteable, which is why we normally don't see him in pro play.
It's maybe been since West Rice?
Oh, man. Yeah, West Rice, Shyvana alt montage, if you want to go look that one up.
Locking it in. First, Shyvana of the summer, locked in by MikeYeung to put aggression back in his hands in a bit of the tanky meta. Hashtag TSM win, hashtag P1 win. We're going to see what happens coming into this game. Both teams have switched it up highly in the pick and ban phase. Let's see how they come out and who can come out on top.
Oh, yeah, so excited to see the Shyvana trying to run straight at people. Never want to pick that champion early, so that's where the value of the Maokai flex pick comes in, because you can wait and see if you think you're comfortable in that scenario. P1 had a lot of different options towards the end of that draft, and they're going for the home run here. MikeYeung, Shyvana.
Let's see where they decide to head. Have you played Shyvana lately?
Played it yesterday.
Oh, that's lately. There you go.
Yeah, so I tried the MikeYeung build, which would be the Devour to Frozen Mallet. A lot of people like going early Tiamat on him as well for wave clear, or they like going Chilling Smite. The problem with Chilling Smite in pro play is you just need the wards so much that I think that's what Mike's going to end up going is Tracker's Knife. And then he needs the Frozen Mallet to stick close to people. Early jungle invades already.
Ooh. Get that burnout damage in.
Swing and a miss. Here we go, though.
Looking to actually hit that one over onto Arrow. That's going to be a kill. It's going to go down. One last shot. Ryu coming in with the heal and the flash. Both summoners down. Svenskeren, they're looking to pop the passive, but they do not get it. We talked about this, Jatt. What are those flashes going to mean, though?
Yeah, exactly. Shyvana's early gank is a little underwhelming. She runs at you slightly faster than normal. But
see this again.
Hauntzer is through a ward, but they're trying to power invade right here, not wanting Shyvana to get an early start. Hauntzer wards, but then the roam just comes up from the river. So this is actually Phoenix1 being in a defensive line formation and actually collapsing 5 people up through mid lane. So the stun misses on Biofrost towards Xpecial, which allows him to flash flay. They then burn flash and heal, so 6 summoner spells in total for 1 on TSM's side. Sorry, 4 summoner spells in total. 6 for the game because 2 flashes burned over on TSM's side. But first blood for Ryu.
if they can make it to like 5.5, 5:45, then they have basically all of those back up. So it's going to have to be fast moves by Svenskeren if he does want to punish that. A bit of back and forth as Biofrost stays toe-to-toe with Arrow, focusing only the bot lane ADC. Yeah,
needing to play this one aggressive because they're actually out of flash, and MikeYeung immediately going into counter jungle mode. This could end up working against Svenskeren, who's Zax's nerfs slowed down his clear speed. He lost a lot of early damage on his W, so he's slow moving through the jungle here. Mike had a ward on blue, will hit level 3, and now might camp a brush or is hoping that he... All right, they just saw each other, so now they're going to run away, and they kind of know what's happened.
Just short, should miss on the Q. Bjergsen not in a real position to come up, but MikeYeung much more comfortable in this situation. This is what we saw him doing as he came into the LCS and the tank meta. Kind of slowed him down in his role to counter and be aggressive.
Yeah, this is his kind of champion, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Hard farming carry style who needs his lanes to set up for him rather than him setting up for lanes. Interesting here how he's opted to actually skip his red, almost thinking they were going to get invaded. And Zig doesn't have lane priority, so he would have been pushed off that red buff. Goes blue to blue. So not actually getting a huge lead on Svenskeren because of this. Oh, Zach.
Always so fun. Bjergsen as well, grading the Scryer's bloom, so they can't figure out if Svenskeren is up there any quicker. All the little things TSM is trying to do now to make sure they can track out where MikeYeung is. They can shut down this early Shyvana. He does have decent gank pressure towards that top side with Maokai. Get some stuff going down in the bot lane with Hook and that stand aside from Draven. Mid lane might be difficult though. Not too much crowd control.
Yeah, you can see the double daggers coming in, so most likely going towards that Devour jungle enchantment. Oh, the Sapling's gonna show exactly what Svenskeren has done. So Mike should know his jungle is warded now. And then while all that jungle stuff is going on, the lanes are still playing. They're basically just in isolation since the junglers have been scouted out so well. Allowing this Draven to try and bully, but also remember Taric stun does 100 damage at rank 1. Misses though.
Shield out. They're going to wait for the flay back. Now they have the hook on a slow. Actually get his flash. Too many minions in the way, though. They got to be really careful about hitting this one. They don't get caught up too much. DoubleLift is able to just dance around. Flashes and heals blown, as well as the ignite from Xpecial.
Yeah, big cost there for the missed stun. DoubleLift did have to flash and heal just to keep his support alive. Xpecial getting some nice efficiency out of that ignite. As soon as it's back up after first blood, uses it again in lane. Arrow and Xpecial trying to do work with this Draven as MikeYeung now starts cycling Svenskeren's jungle.
Gotta feel pretty good when you have just about everything. Usually it's the Raptors, but he's saying, you know what? You go for Raptors. I'll take your Wolves and Grom every time. And the speed of burnout kind of makes it possible, especially Devour. You crush those things that usually take a bit of time in the early game. And now Zig backs 43 to 40, pretty even top lane here. Hauntzer didn't even really have to eat all the potions up because Cho'Gath.
Yeah, Cho'Gath, a solid laner, especially if he's not ganked. He'll be able to farm up huge, probably just end up feasting minions up until 6 stacks before he starts joining team fights. Fairly non-interactive top lane unless we see the Shyvana try and gank.
Little buys and rebuys on MikeYeung. Mistake purchases, they happen. The undo button is a great thing.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Xpecial, yeah, Xpecial push back a bit. Mismatch on the backs here, but it doesn't look like they'll actually lose too much. Just a bit of HP, and MikeYeung will still be on the bot side for it to be counter jungling to happen.
Knows they're out of summoners, but Xpecial is so nice. Woo!
That was super close. Blowing the flash. Gets back for his coin cash, and he's going to get to safety. So it looks like they're actually sharing the jungles, but they're sharing the same side. Usually it's opposite sides of this jungle. It's very interesting.
Yeah, they're cycling each other's jungle. I'm wondering who's going to break the pattern first. Even though Svenskeren has more CS, it's just based on the camps they've been taking. He's been counter-jungling Krugs, which is much more CS than a Gromp or a Wolf. camp. I'm wondering when Mike's going to start turning towards the Drake. That's what Xpecial was trying to set up with that trade he just did. Here, Mike actually got out jungled a little bit by Svenskeren because he wasn't expecting Svenskeren to cycle and ends up walking through a bunch of wards. This gives a ton of information over TSM.
Yeah, it's rinse and repeat as well. You remember last game, Svenskeren got that tracker, immediately placed the same wards on the bottom side of blue. Now he does it top side red. And TSM can use that same advantage they did here in the mid-game. A few more kills over to the side of TSM at this point last game. So P1 having a much better early game.
Yeah, TSM has such good vision scouting right here. Mike's gonna try and steal this anyway. Doesn't get it. Great take back by Svenskeren right there. Mike smoked early and then Svenskeren landed on it.
It's up. I thought we were gonna have a rotation from Hauntzer. Zig didn't even need to come down for the moment. MikeYeung just gets himself to safety. Looks like he's actually staying for a bit though to get Scuttle. Maybe head towards that top side for a bit of pressure. Well, there you go.
Oh my goodness. And so fitting, 2 years ago there, High just coming back into the jungle, pulls out Shyvana. If Phoenix1 can win a few games in the last week, they will try and make it to the regional qualifier. So almost similarly desperate positions these teams are in to break up share.
I see what they were doing. Doesn't look like they were able to actually use it. DoubleLift hitting 6. Biofrost wasn't just there yet, and they figured they can get in and...
Man, so much counter jungling going on in this game. Like ships in the night, both Svenskeren and MikeYeung just going right past each other. But here's the thing. Svenskeren's getting deep wards every time he does it. MikeYeung isn't, because he's trying to rush Devour. So that would technically, you would think, favor TSM, but they're not necessarily winning the lanes with that vision control because Phoenix1 drafted quite strong laners. And the first blood for Ryu really helped him out against Bjergsen.
So TP back to the top side for Hauntzer. Zig will back and do the same. MikeYeung kicks his first red up. Very nice for him to re-control this top side of the jungle. Hopefully now they can control really what would be blue and that dragon side so Ryu can keep up on this Corki and keep up with Bjergsen in that mid lane. 87 to 95, not too bad between those two to start things off. Looks like a lot of stacking though. Catalyst's tiers on the side of TSM here, so they're happy to just farm it up.
Yeah, Cassiopeia, really high mana cost, great base damages. Still like that build from Bjergsen. And we know with the Taric as well, as the Cho'Gath, TSM is okay farming this one out for late game. Just a matter of benching that Draven snowball. Always have to track the adoration stacks. 240 gold if Arrow were to convert that now.
Maybe that's not why they're not going down there. So one thing, bring a fight bot lane, cash in the Draven. Big mistake. Devour, as you said, finished up. We'll see where
Yep.
That's gonna be the dragon, maybe no?
Yeah, he's got a control ward.
Yeah.
So he wants to take Drake. You would think, unless the Cloud Drake is irrelevant for them, they might dive bot.
Make sure this doesn't work against them. Biofrost and DoubleLift looking to at least save a bit of their summoners here. If they're a resulting fight, you can see Bastion replaced there on DoubleLift.
Very poor use of the control ward by MikeYeung, placing it over the wall, and then having both trinkets as well used and immediately swept out by the rank 1 trinket from Biofrost. The vision game is really in the favor of TSM, but that doesn't actually mean that they are winning yet. Hard to dive on Maokai, here we go.
Bramble smash back, could be second kill coming into the game. Zig gets himself under turret, it's gonna make it a lot harder as well as he's feeling with that passive. Hauntzer and Svenskeren just spit out spells around him.
Yeah, Cloud Drake goes over to Shyvana. They're going to do round 2. Has Flash no ult this time. But he's almost back at full health and his grasp will be back up. So very hard to do.
Grab a sack mid.
Bring a third.
Turn your back to the Cassiopeia. Don't look into her eyes. Oh, he did it. But he's still going to go down. Nicely played by Zig in that situation. Three's a crowd though. Cannot stop himself from going down. And they'll keep that turret pushed up. Bot lane still getting hit, but here by Arrow and Xpecial. And they force DoubleLift about Frost off.
Yeah, and that was a lot of time where Svenskeren wasn't farming to try and keep up with that Shyvana. So now 500 gold down. on MikeYeung, just the pace that Shyvana can keep up in the jungle. Also, Hauntzer unable to get the execute with his feast there onto Zig. Zig healed up with his passive by getting an auto attack off right as Hauntzer was nomming down. So the kill goes over to Bjerg. Still want to kill on Cassiopeia, but Cho'Gath wants it too. Wants to get big.
The Bloodthirster, P1 Arrow, Draven. He had 2,700 gold to spend. He did buy something. He's like, nah, sell that. Bloodthirster.
Oh my, that's...
He's ready to go.
That's not an item you see much of anymore. You so often just see a death stance on Draven because you get the damage reduction and then you're generally life-stealing for so much off the death stance. Bloodthirster is a lot of gold for not that many stats. Still makes you a little bit tankier. Maybe Draven is the champion for it.
Ryu just gets out. Lock with one. Just going to wear right off if he couldn't find a second target.
Hey, objective control.
What else can he devour? Instantly taking out these wards too. Got to remember the double bite. Pretty effective against that. Making your way around the map. They have actually been doing a good job of pushing their wards forward. It's kind of mirrored on both sides now around the red for vision. But around this mid now, P1 starts to focus. Good sapling to the left. Svenskeren looking for the back shot. MikeYeung just gets to safety. Not enough room.
And now Phoenix1 starting to move into TSM territory a little bit, getting that turret low. Knowing DoubleLift wants to get that solo turret gold up top. He's going to get it, but will Phoenix1 be able to get anything off of it? Will be the question.
This would be a good time for TSM to clear that Rift Herald area. P1 will trade with the mid turret, nicely opening up the map. That's very, very healthy on the side of P1. Still 90% of its HP. It's going to be hard for TSM to break that. I feel like it's going to be the one big fight. TSM may just have a lane to themselves after that. It's the way it usually adapts for them. And it might be for the Rift Herald as well.
I mean, we know the scaling, and I think the scaling on both of these teams is actually quite good. Cassiopeia, Cho'Gath, even Kalista, I think, at least for mid-game scaling is great. Trying to go for the Rift Herald here while Phoenix1 is in a recall pattern. Does Zig have package? He does. They could try and force a fight here. They don't have arrow quite yet.
Zig slowly cruising in. They got a lot of time to pick that Rift Herald up. Looks like they make it out safely. Oh, package in from Ryu. He's going to try to vault back towards Svenskeren. A nice bastion there from Biofrost, but they're not able to use the dazzle off of it, and they do take him down in the end. Flash and exhaust saved. TSM just did not want to take the fight overall.
Ryu does not care about your 5v4s. He just jumps straight into 5 people, mostly for TSM, but they're in retreat mode anyway, so it helps to pick off Biofrost. Arrow in base, so TSM able to secure the Rift Herald, but Zig wants to fight. Maokai slows down Svenskeren. He's Zakdos, so he bounces away. Lantern and a quick reset, and the nice cutoff there from Ryu. Missed stun from Taric, and then Zig locks him down before he can flash away.
Yeah, I was going to say he didn't have time to flash. So Zig now on this Maokai. Thought it was going to be in the jungle to start things off, as it usually is, but then goes top, and MikeYeung brings out the Shyvana. Now these two are flying forward with a righteous glory on Zig, and MikeYeung with that ultimate most of the time up, as he's just around the map farming up this Devourer. So far, so good. Waiting for Arrow to cash in here. He's going to be a pretty big guy once he does.
Yeah, if he dies, he loses half of his stacks. If he converts, it's a huge bump in power for Phoenix1. So a lot of peculiar picks for Phoenix1 here, trying to catch TSM off guard a little bit. And so far, it's looking like it's working okay. I have to say, though, TSM was pretty close for about 10 minutes of game 1 and then still won the game in 27. So strong team fighting, strong map play could still come through. They're not the type of team to panic in these situations.
So they're working with everybody just under 500 or 1,000 gold, so not too much to be bought here. MikeYeung working to build up that HP in his Hysterics or Charm's Fist for now.
Yep, probably going into Frozen Mallet, just like the build he has been practicing with. But Infernal Drake in 14 seconds, Phoenix1 kills it really fast. They have an ultimate on Zig, but they do not have everyone here for the spawn of it, so TSM's going to get control of the zone.
Executioner's calling for Arrow here as his next item.
And TSM has tremendous objective control as well. Kalista Cho'Gath almost one-shot the Drake.
Yeah.
Think about it. They're going on it right now. Phoenix1 have to fight.
They're going to have to time it correctly. A lot
Gotta
of
go.
people miss between the Cho'Gath and the Kalista. It gives time for the jungler to smite it out. P1 doesn't really have it. Zig throws down the ultimate, zones TSM for a moment, but they still get the Infernal. Bjergsen has to watch his HP. He's out of the fight. Cosmic Radiance means TSM needs to use this to walk out perfectly to the top side of the Dragon Pit, but P1 sees that as the entrance as it wears off. Svenskeren gonna be the first one going down. The focus on the kills, then on the Svenskeren blobs. They're gonna do that now.
MikeYeung KS's a blob and doesn't allow Arrow to cash in on his adoration.
This is gonna be Ryu forward,
there
does
it
it again. There's the adoration coming in from MikeYeung, or for Arrow. And now they're on to DoubleLift. TSM stayed a little too long in the fight. And Biofrost goes down as well.
All about getting a kill and moving on to the next target, I guess. Could have cost them for not giving that kill over to Draven, but they end up cleaning up regardless. TSM got the Infernal Drake, but at great cost.
1,800 gold above DoubleLift in that one fight.
Woo. Yeah,
And he has about 2,000 to spend.
that was a plus 920 adoration, if I saw correctly, at the end of that team fight. Rift Herald has to be used to prevent the spawn. So yes, TSM got the Infernal Drake, but now Phoenix1 4,000 gold ahead in the game.
See us again.
Yeah, I mean, the Taric just wasn't good by TSM here. The
I thought they were going to
engage
hug the
was done.
wall and just leave.
Exactly, because no one's doing damage to them right now.
Yeah.
They're not reducing anything. And as soon as the Taric ult is off, they're in range for the re-engage. So Phoenix1 says, yes, please, we'll fight a team without a Taric ult. Stun lands onto Hauntzer. Here's where I wanted them to give the kill to Arrow, but they do not. They chase on. Ryu gets rid of the blast cone. And then they get to cash in onto Arrow's Draven and just continue to chase. Another clutch hook by Xpecial down the stretch.
Ryu's making plays like you would see from an old Soraka on your team, giving you a buttload of armor as soon as you dive in so you can bait. But he doesn't have that. He is just taking chunks, absorbing like a tank, and getting out alive. Feeling good coming off the bench. Ryu is playing very well for the team here in Game 2. Looks like he's going to get out of this situation. Package and Valkyrie to safety. A lot of pink wards here that P1 wants to move up and be able to protect in their inventory.
Yeah, 5,000 gold now for Phoenix1, looking to make this a third game. Has already gone
It's just pen.
for the Mortal Reminder. I mean, yes, there are a lot of tanks already on TSM, Svenskeren and Hauntzer, Ninja Tabi, and building up more armor, but no damage multipliers for Arrow. And the healing reduction is beneficial against his team. I mean, so much healing on TSM. So that, the Executioner's calling portion makes sense, but boy, that's an early last whisper.
I wonder what he was doing when he got the Executioner. So I was like, great, yeah, you recipe that in, get your other items. He's like,
Your
nope.
static shiv.
You start it, you finish it. Just about 20 minutes in. It's the P1, the goal difference at 20. Usually quite below the average, 9 down there in position.
Yeah.
But this one, very, very good. Holding strong, but also pushing advantages. And that's what you need to see when you have a gold lead. You don't just sit on it.
Yeah, and it's a really big lead. They do kill Baron fast, don't have amazing Baron secure. So I think that's where they're going to be going next. And they're going to look to force a fight around it or just get it if TSM doesn't check. Time to go. No hesitation. Hello.
There's another one. A momentary second of it. Just a bit. Tiny, tiny bit. And it's enough. They say, we don't want this just yet. Cosmic Radiance can be too much. Teleport is up for both Hauntzer and Zig as they're meeting each other down on that bot side. So now TSM kind of has an idea that we can work around if P1 wants Baron. Maybe they'll allow that to feel like a lull or sense of security, and TSM can work against it. So many things come into play now that it's on the Rift.
Yeah, MikeYeung ended up taking half of his health and back spikes from the Baron, so they had to recall,
Don't stand there.
give up control. Yeah, they're trying to sneak it from there, so... Still going to be a struggle to find the right fight. Cassiopeia scales up very well towards the late game. And we know Phoenix1 has struggled mightily ending games. They've actually had a lot of early game leads during this struggling back half of the season for them.
They are hungry. They really don't have the vision forward past this point. Maybe on the left side, but they're ready to take what would have been a blind engage there. The hook obviously giving momentary vision. They're ready to pull the trigger on something. They feel stronger. They're right to. 6-1 on the board. They don't have to think too differently about it. And you got some spikes in the Triforce, Frozen Mallet as well. 3-0-3 MikeYeung back on a champion where he can be aggressive. But TSM says we have a moment, and we are going to take a slight advantage. Gold from the mid turret. That's the Righteous Glory going down. A lockdown of the Cho'Gath. How much do they want that to start? Zig almost down off the initiation as Ryu says, I have a flank, but that beautifully kind of disengages the fight that P1 did not want.
Yeah, that was well played by TSM. They have a 5,000 gold deficit, yet they just got mid priority, took a turret, and made the Maokai go back. Now they fight again. Maokai can't TP.
Good jump over. The TP's coming in just above them. Home guards just after 20 minutes on. Zig could find himself a target. It's going to be a sapling again. Cho'Gath so big, grabbing hooks left and right. Whoa, over the wall goes Svenskeren. Tries to bring the Cosmic Radiance in. If he can be the second one to be in that circle for the Taric ultimate. Beautifully done, but it doesn't work. P1 says, get out of here. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, there's still no casualties, but has TSM been pushed back enough? They don't have control over Baron. P1 turns. Now they're spotted. Does TSM go back in with no Taric ult? Still have Cassio ult, and Cho'Gath eats.
Double bite and smite is still great from the Shyvana. They're gonna go for it. It's gonna be stolen by Svenskeren. Right off the bat, a kill onto Xpecial from Bjergsen. Hauntzer finalizes Ryu. And P1 are left wondering as they thought they had a complete upper hand on the Baron take.
Phoenix1 has good Baron damage, but not good Baron secure. Svenskeren, MikeYeung, smite fight. Svenskeren wins it, and Phoenix1 had just had a close 5v5 where both teams were low. They thought they'd be able to steal it away, but TSM had other ideas. Bjergsen still had ultimate, and that 6,000 lead Phoenix1 had 3 minutes ago, it's gone.
Completely gone. And they didn't even lose too many members within the fight. It's just TSM organizing, adapting, and taking only what they need on the way in and on the way out. Here it is again.
Yeah, the Baron's at 5,000 health. They make the call to completely finish it. Cho'Gath teleports in, has Flash Eat, and Svenskeren has Smite. So everyone just bursted. It looked like, I saw it lasted 1,200 and then it was gone.
Yeah,
so Mike never even gets his Smite off. That's the environment that 50-50s happen when you got Kalistas, Cho'Gaths, double Smite, all in that pit. It is a toss-up sometimes.
Yeah. They're smiting at 720 there, so something had to happen, obviously.
Yeah, and also, if they don't smite early, Cho'Gath feasts it for 1,202 actually is how much it does right now. So the fact that Hauntzer even teleported in time just makes that a very questionable call by Phoenix1.
Looks like they're trying to protect the bottom now, obviously working off the objectives being down. Ryu pushes top. Triforce is going to make this fantastic to actually answer if the minions can be held. Arrow still able to clear these out, but Draven has to be very close for that to happen, so TSM gets these turrets pretty easily.
Yeah, Ryu doing his damage, just split the map, but even when Phoenix1 had that big gold lead, they weren't able to get the right type of team fights against TSM. They got to be really trying to figure out how to get the right fights. There's a cleanse Cassiopeia, and then a Taric that can ultimate if they end up going in. They have to find picks of some sort. A lot of that has to come down to Xpecial landing a Thresh hooker. Zig just finding someone on TSM who's not grouped up, but look at the way TSM is positioning. They'll put Zach in a bad spot, but he can ult away no matter what. And Bjergsen's not with his team, but he has cleanse, so they're positioning fairly smart.
They're all just within range, too, of I need help in a few seconds, especially when Hauntzer's teleport is down. Continue to play very, very safe. Hauntzer, though, 6 minion chomps and 1 champion devourer, so he's up to 7. A few more to go.
Yep.
Get those champions.
Hasn't grabbed the objectives he would want to grab on Cho'Gath, so it's going to be hard for him to get absolutely massive this game, but Cho'Gath's still pretty big with 7, especially once he hits level 16. He'll be getting more health per feast stack.
This is when his music should get louder that he plays.
It becomes global if you hit 11 stacks.
I like that. Like the old Amumu laugh.
Yeah.
Top turret now for TSM. P1 trying to answer. Xpecial could be the flank for a hook on the exit fight, but it looks like TSM only wants in for the moment. It's going to take all 5 members of P1 standing next to that turret to even deter TSM, and they're still threading shots through. Minions are pretty much equaled out in every other lane, so they can stay and have fun here for a while.
Yeah, but they still have regained control of this game, even if they haven't regained control of the gold lead. They must feel like they're ahead right now. Ocean Drake, Infernal Drake, maybe actually tilting the stats in their favor. Miasma also prevents the engage, even if MikeYeung wants to flank. Here
Nice
we go.
Up. Good silence. The hook already came out, though. A little too close for Hauntzer. Cosmic Radiance saving his life, and he will get out alive. No kill there. Trying to get into the fight is MikeYeung. The ultimate is down as he goes dragon form. They get bounced out of the fight, so they can't chase TSM. Svenskeren with the Broman for the rest of his team to keep them alive.
Takes one for the team, but that's still a 3-for-0 for Phoenix1. They find a really good fight there. TSM overstays the turret, and the hook comes through from Xpecial right here. Hauntzer has turret aggro, hooks him in turret aggro, and yes, the invulnerability stopped him from dying, but DoubleLift goes and face checks a Draven. Gets blown up, overconfident from the Taric ultimate, and definitely just happy moment there from Svenskeren, but it's not enough. This is Phoenix1 taking control back.
What a hold there by P1. As they hold, the turret went down, but they were able to fight back and get TSM as they breadcrumb their way out of there. Quick Silver Sash now for Arrow along with his Zeal, kind of edging a bit more of the damage multipliers in there. And it looks like we could get the Infinity Edge from Ryu actually quite soon here. The 800 for the critical cloak and then the finishing price. And he will be very strong.
Yeah, Arrow should be able to complete that Seal item into something more substantial on his next back if he chooses to.
No.
Boom, rapid fire.
Whoa, never mind, he's got it.
Long range axes.
Yep, and Ryu actually has 1,000 gold, so he's close to the Infinity Edge. That fight for them was a big, big surge that they were waiting for, but they cleaned the turrets up already, so now they gotta move the wards up and get themselves into position to make the plays happen again. 1 minute on the Baron and 1 on Ocean Drake before we actually see the Elder.
And as we've seen time and time again, gold leads don't win you games. Objective control with gold leads win you games. And Phoenix1 has gotten the gold lead part down, but not the objective control. They gave away a 6,000 gold lead with that last Baron force. It was stolen away and they lost the fight. Ocean Drake up in 35 seconds, Baron in 50. Vision control, finding smart fights around the objectives, and then taking up the objectives needs to be the name of the game for Phoenix1, but that is very hard to do against this TSM team.
Man, he's big. Hauntzer taking up the entire screen, and they're looking at him, and they don't see Svenskeren coming out of the clouds from over his shoulder. Biofrost gets dropped immediately. Cosmic Radiance goes off on the other side, but it didn't happen soon enough. That's the timing that can be very tricky. Now they're actually going after the tankiest person. Hauntzer loses some of his stacks. A double kill for Ryu, and it looks like P1 is turning the heat up. Triple kill for Ryu on the Corki. Finally goes down as he is shut down. And DoubleLift coming up with a triple. Looking for the Quadra. He's going to be getting on Xpecial. If he can javelin forward, he's got the distance. He's got the HP. A red buff would lock it in, but DoubleLift completely saves TSM.
Woo, this is turning into a bloodbath. DoubleLift gets his first 3 kills of the game in the backside of that fight. Hurricane, Blade of the Ruined King, Lifesteal, Kalista, tank right there at the end.
Thought it was Lucian for a second.
But it's still a 4-for-4, so that fight's a wash overall until they collide again. Infinity Edge has been completed onto Ryu. BF Sword has been built for Arrow. DoubleLift is probably going to be able to pick up the Ocean Drake on the backside if he chooses.
What a fight. Actually, I can see how that started to turn around. Here it is again.
Yeah, so Biofrost is Ardent Sense or Terror. I think it's the best item for him, but you have to be a little bit careful. So he goes in, gets rooted, tries to ult, and they blow him up. Doesn't get the ult to go off on himself, but now it becomes a 4v5. Hauntzer goes for the flash, Gargoyle, Stoneplate, Nom onto Ryu, nearly kills him. But the rest of TSM can't necessarily follow up, and now it's about Bjergsen and DoubleLift versus the world with Peel. Bjergsen goes down early, but DoubleLift just gets enough shots in, flashes away from Zig, and then lifesteals off the minions at the end. So close to turning. And now TSM is on Baron, going for the rush.
Pick goes down, the smite, the bite, and that is going to be one of the objectives for Hauntzer. He gets a little bit bigger. Remember, he lost stacks on that last one, but TSM are now on a tear, and that's exactly what they needed. DoubleLift, 8,200 damage in the fight.
Just massive, doing the work of 2 carries in that fight. After the fight, looks like Ryu ran towards a blue buff. That's one of the things that happens when you're not the primary mid laner for your team and you're subbed and you don't have the same level of cohesion. TSM takes advantage of it. They then secured the Baron from 3K with Kalista and Chomp from Cho'Gath. Now they push with Baron.
This is the Baron minions are incredibly tough for P1 to even clear. It's Arrow's job. Ryu can fire some to the backside, and is able to clear some of the caster minions, and TSM move back here. They have minions on the bot, and Ocean Drake is up as well before the Elder, if they even want to get it, as they just rotate back and forth. Here, keeping the pressure on. It looks like they aren't going to leave this side of the map for a bit.
Yeah, and if that big one from Ryu is any indication, this game is definitely not decided yet. Phoenix1 still has a gold lead. TSM still yet to crack an inhibitor turret, and Ryu's going to hurt, no matter what. It's very hard for DoubleLift to even get off damage when he's dealing with Corki and Draven in team fights.
Cosmic Radiance, no, not pulled out just yet.
Beautiful ult.
Bouncing 2 out, Svenskeren beautifully taking 2 members of P1 out. Xpecial and go down immediately to the hands of Hauntzer. Now they're on the inhibitor turret, and TSM was just waiting so patiently. Good things come to those who are patient. They get the inhibitor turret in the mid lane and the inhib as they move towards top side. They're a little unhealthy. They may head home first.
That play right there is why TSM is still prioritizing something. Coming back in though.
See the damage Ryu does. He says kiss! Ryu and Arrow, and they're going to be dropping them. Svenskeren taking so many shots. Ryu can't get him to fall. They're able to drop MikeYeung as well as Biofrost goes down valiantly. For the team, they are going to be able to drop Ryu. That's the ace on P1. TSM's in the base.
2 minutes after it was anyone's game, it's TSM's game. Still only a 1,500 gold lead, but with those death timers, they might be able to push to end.
The Barons, as we said before, once they saw P1 do it, they said this is our way to find it back in. We'll continue to run that, and they ran P1 at Baron twice. The Nexus turret's now in the favor of TSM. Is Zig and Xpecial do everything they can to stop it. 18 seconds and 16 on the closest members of P1. Zig says, walk this way! You don't want the Nexus, but TSM does not care. They want to win, and they want to push up in the standings. TSM take down P1, 2-0.
They were down 6,000 gold just after the 20-minute mark, but after the 35-minute mark,
wow,
the Nexus falls, and with that win, TSM secure themselves a playoff bye.
Oh.
Close game.
Very close game.
And it isn't the most promising win for TSM, but you do like to have wins like those, because you're not going to win every early game down the stretch and in the playoffs. You need to be able to play from behind and play with control. And even when TSM was down 5,000 gold, they were dictated to Phoenix1. They got caught out by a few too many fights. Phoenix1 has struggled mightily in closing out games this year. We saw it again here, and that's what cost them in the end.
Arrow bringing out the Draven. Pretty interesting in the build. Got a pretty tanky in the fights with the shield he would get, but the damage, actually you saw that there were no crits coming out. The time he fought Bjergsen in mid only took him down to half in 3 axes. You almost expected Draven to kill you in 3 axes.
Yeah, Arrow is a great Draven. Many consider him the best Draven in NA. Getting the Bloodthirster first can work, but it felt like there was so much armor on that team that he never reached the point where he could really shred through them. Draven ended up not being super effective at the end, but the fights down the stretch was Svenskeren just getting everything. He kidnapped 2 in the base, as well as then slapping 2 together in the last fight. He was super clutch down the stretch, despite not having a big game up until then.
Yeah, it really, really was. Let's dive right back into this one. 30-30 in is where it turned around after Svenskeren was stealing these Barons, but DoubleLift here was incredible.
Yeah, this fight could have swung the game. The Taric dies before the Cosmic Radiance goes off onto him, so Svenskeren's the only one that gets it, and then Ryu jumps in with the package. You think, man, Phoenix1's going to turn this around right now. Arrow is full health. Ryu got chomped, but he's still fine. How are they going to lose this fight? They even kill Cassiopeia. But DoubleLift is on the backside, picks up one, goes through Xpecial to get the last hit on the other. And then Xpecial is the one that has flashed away because DoubleLift is going to drain tank and could have picked up a Quadra if Xpecial stays. Game-saving fight there by DoubleLift.
Pretty great stuff as well, seeing the Zac come in for Svenskeren. Usually we do see the Zac and we're like, oh, so it finally got through, and then it kind of fizzles out. We really saw that impact hitting hard today. Svenskeren had some great plays. For more on that series, let's check in with D-Gon and TSM's bot laner.
Thank you very much, Riv. Great cast on the day. I'm joined with DoubleLift. And DoubleLift, this interview was going to be about how does it feel to get carried, because you hadn't done too much in that game too, but you made that huge play in the mid lane. Talk me through that play.
Well, Riv just called me TSM spot lane, so that's pretty interesting. I guess I think we played really bad for the first, as a bot lane, we played really bad for the first, actually we played bad the entire game. So the mid play was that's just what Kalista has to do, you know? I think Kalista players, usually they're afraid of dying and trade killing in team fights, but to do the most amount of damage when you have Hurricane, you have to go in. Sometimes you look really stupid, sometimes, especially with Taric, sometimes you just have to go really hard and go in. So I think I got kind of lucky there, got some crits I probably shouldn't have, and then I let Xpecial live because my jump didn't go off. I don't know. I should have got a quad.
Well, that was a great play. That did get you the win. And with this win, you're able to get a playoff bye and have destiny for first place over Immortals if you win later on. What does that mean to you guys moving on forward?
Well, for us, it's a really big deal to get that playoff bye. This split has, well, with each NA LCS split, I think it just gets harder and harder. But this one has been the biggest jump. I'd say in previous splits, maybe 5 or 10% increase in the team's overall skills and just the general level of NA LCS. But then this one, I feel like every top team, all of the top 6 playoff teams is really good. So getting the bye was extra important this split. And yeah, I think for us, being able to go to Boston and having that security is really important. And yeah, we're just really happy that the last week of practice paid off.
Well, to secure the first place seed of the regular season, you got to go through CLG, your old team. A lot of people like to ask about you and Afremu since you guys were the bot lane. I'd like to ask your thoughts on Stixxay, the guy that replaced you and ended up taking a couple of championships. Talk to me about him and his play.
There was one championship.
Just one.
Yeah, no, Stixxay is really good. Sometimes, I think the meta doesn't really suit him, but our playstyles are actually pretty similar. I think we both, we're not afraid of playing super aggressive, and we are always trying to push our laning leads to snowball into kills or objectives. And I don't feel like Stixxay is ever a non-factor in his games. And for me, I tried my best to not be a non-factor, even though that game was pretty close. And yeah, I like playing against CLG's bot lane because I think they're really good. And the whole Afro being the veteran player who leads the lane, and then Stixxay being the rookie, I think that has a lot of mirrored effects on TSM's bot lane. You know, me and Bio, he's a rookie. I'm a veteran player, so it's fun to play against them.
2-0 or 2-1 tomorrow?
2-0.
All right, you heard it here first from DoubleLift. To get more on that, let's send it back to the casters, Riv and Jatt.
Thank you very much, D-Gon. Great interview on the day, and DoubleLift feeling pretty happy, but feeling like they could also do a little bit better, striving for the best.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they have the playoff bye secured now, and now with an Immortals loss or a TSM win against CLG, they get the #1 seed, and it does matter. We have dynamic seeding coming into the playoffs, so the quarterfinal, if they're the #1 seed, means they will play the lowest seed remaining in the playoffs, whether that be a 6 seed or a 5 seed or a 4 seed. So very important still, and a lot of work to do.
Feels good if you can get it. We're going to go back and jump into the game 23-40 in a lot of pivotal moments. We just talked to the guy who almost got his quadra kill, he says, but this Baron steal.
Yeah, 1,093 and then it's gone. So clutch moves. It wasn't the feast from the Cho'Gath either, so Svenskeren got it with the smite and some other damage that was hitting around the same time. Huge moment in the game there. You can see multiple swings back and forth. That was the Baron steal we just saw. Then they lost a fight at the turret.
Oh my word.
Then they got another fight to win. So those are the high-pressure games. that you need to be ready for, and TSM secured it down the stretch, even though this one was very close.
TSM has not a lot of games like this, but any game they are behind looks like this. They get that 30-minute, the 40-minute fight, which we aren't even really getting to anymore. You see this one 34-59, his games are a little bit quicker, but that snap hit from TSM, and they have had, even behind, set up a wave to be ready. Turret, 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 and they just catapult ahead of time. It seems almost all the time when they need to.
Yeah, they play with a lot of control, right? They have good strategies in place, and they play very well with the team. And it's the type of cohesion that Phoenix1 strives to have. We have a 5,000 or 6,000 gold lead. You swap that game around, you feel like TSM's walking out of there in 27 minutes, right? So it just goes to show sometimes the difference the team play can make beyond the laning phase.
And we have to go over, obviously, the man we just heard from, DoubleLift player of the game, locking that in for game number 2 for TSM. Beautifully done on the Kalista, and actually didn't really have much before that. So that fight was him kind of, yeah, I'm having the team help me, but those were his first kills, and then continued from there.
Yeah, I really feel like this game is between DoubleLift and Svenskeren. Svenskeren's early game was not very effective, but the smite steal and the engages down the stretch, definitely clutch moments from both of them. Svenskeren had the Baron steal and the engage, and DoubleLift had that clutch fight at the end. So had to make a lot of big plays there, and DoubleLift, top damage on the team, gets the player of the game.
Top damage, a top win, and TSM take down Phoenix1. We've got more league action coming your way. Echo Fox hit the rift as they go up against